Guys, I hope you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shaka, and I welcome you to another episode of the Millionaire Hippie podcast. In this episode, I wanted to speak to you guys about how I've been noticing as I become more and more sensitive to these things, or as I start thinking about these things more, as I open myself to these ideas more, that the full moon has more of an effect on me than I ever realized before. Now, obviously, the full moon happens every single month, and you guys are probably aware of it. You probably see it on your feed, on your Facebook feed, or your social media feeds. That today's a full moon, today's a full moon, or something like that. And you're probably aware of it. Sometimes you see it in passing, but a lot of us don't think about the full moon as anything major. It's not like as big as an eclipse. It doesn't matter to us as much. It happens every month. I mean, why would you even think about it? But I've been noticing as I've been kind of paying attention to it more and more that not only my moon cycle is aligned with it a little bit, which is fine, and it's one of the things that women speak about all the time, but the other thing that I've been noticing is that my energy really fluctuates because of the full moon as well. I've been noticing that some of the things that I used to do, I used to just attribute it to hormones. I'd always think, oh, it's just hormones. It's just my period. That's the reason I'm doing these things. Or I would just attribute it to laziness or procrastination or some character trait that I have kind of assigned to myself as one of my things. Oh, I'm a procrastinator, or I'm this, or I'm that, right? And so I would notice all these changes within myself on a month-to-month basis, or I'd notice certain transformations, or I'd notice certain ideas losing their grip upon me, or certain ideas gaining their grip upon me, and I'd think, oh, it's just hormones or something like that, right? But I've been noticing as I've been paying attention a little bit more, and now I have an app on my phone that tells me when there's a full moon and tells me when the cycle goes. I notice that there's a distinct and really interesting effect of the full moon upon me and all the different things that I do during the month. For example, I'll give you a very quick example of something that happened in August, July or August. There was a major event during that time when there was a full moon, there was an eclipse, and also 5 planets were in a retrograde or something like that. I'm not a big astrology person, but that was a particularly transformational time because there was a lot of stuff going on, not only with regards to the moon and the eclipse, but also all the different planets and all the different things in the heavens. There's a lot of things affecting Earth and the inhabitants of Earth, basically us, right? And I noticed that because of all of that, now I did not start thinking, oh, that's happening, that's the reason I feel this way. I started feeling all of these emotions and transformations within myself, and then I started looking for the reason. I thought, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel so exhausted? I felt so tired. I needed 10 to 12 hours of sleep every night, and even then I would be exhausted all day long. There was so much going on. There's so much stuff in the atmosphere that I could feel, so many different emotions, negative and positive, in the atmosphere that were really making me feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of ideas that I had about my life and the way I was living completely fell apart, and the stuff that I was doing, the life that I was leading, I looked at it face to face, and I realized this is not what I want to be doing in my life. This is not how I want to be living my life. I want to live in a completely different way, and I was not living true to my values. It was so clear to me, and it was as clear to me as daylight. It was right there in front of my face, and I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it before that. And it was so clear. More than that, a lot of the things that I was doing in the past and a lot of my ideas that I had about the way I wanted to lead my life completely fell apart as well. And so I had to do a bunch of things. I had to do a bunch of cleanup in my life in order to remove all of these old faded ideas from my life, right? And so I quit my job, I moved to a different country, I started doing different things, I started transforming my business, and I started making a lot of changes. But that wouldn't have been possible, or wouldn't have started, if I hadn't had that transformational time. And I believe a lot of that transformation happened was because of that tumultuous energy transforming time, due to all of the astrological stuff that was going on, right? That was due to all of the moon phases and eclipse and the retrograde and all that stuff that happened in the heavens. Now, right now, as I'm recording this video and this podcast, there's another full moon, and as time goes on, as I become more and more empathic, as I connect more to my intuition and to my power and to my mula bandha and in general to the world, I'm noticing that I know when there's a full moon, and I know then when there's a lot of stuff going on in my head and my body and my spirit. I know that there's a full moon coming, and that's the reason I'm feeling so much stuff. And there's a reason why there's so much transformation or madness happening in my head, in my spirit, in my generality, right? Right now, as I sit here, again, as I said, there's a full moon coming, and I feel really, really interested because I've been noticing another switch in my head. A lot of ideas that I had in my head about the way I wanted to do one or two things is kind of again falling apart. And I think the whole purpose of the full moon not only is to transform our body, because it exerts a force on us. We are 90% water, and the fact that the moon can have an effect on the tides means that it can definitely have an effect on our bodies and our minds and our spirits. And so it is a very powerful force that we ignore every month. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode or this podcast, is because I want to remind people that there is this force that comes into play every single month. But because we are so ingrained into our concrete jungles that we don't even think about the fact that there are all these forces affecting us. We think, oh, it must just be the sugar that I had today. It might be that case, or it might be the fact that there is the moon, the full moon, and it's really strong and powerful, and it's affecting you in a certain way. I'm not saying that every single person is going to be affected by it. I know when I was younger and less empathic and less connected to my body, maybe it affected me, maybe it didn't, but I didn't pay as much attention to it then. It didn't really matter to me as much. As I get older, I realize more and more that it really does bother me sometimes, and it actually really changes me a lot of times. And I really have been paying more attention to the effect of it, of the moon, the full moon, upon me. I've been noticing that one of the things that have been really helping me gain this kind of interaction and connection to the full moon is obviously meditation. And I do this full moon meditation every single time. So every month when there is a full moon, I try as much as possible to take an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes, just to sit with the full moon, upon me. I used to have an apartment before where the full moon, the light of it fell directly on me while I was sitting in bed. And so it was beautiful because I'd feel the light of the moon, and I'd feel the energy of the moon lifting me up and getting me deeper into the meditative phase, and then giving me all of these amazing, beautiful insights about my life and where I wanted it to go, about myself, my characteristics, what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, and what I wanted to change. And it was so powerful and so transformational for me that I've started doing this on a monthly basis. So every single full moon, I'll sit down, even if the full moon is happening not at the same time as my night. Usually when I do this meditation is at nighttime. I'll sit in the darkness and I'll imagine that the full moon is upon me and I can feel its rays, and I'll do this meditation really trying to bring transformation and clarity into my life. I really feel like, especially for me, the full moon has been a source of major clarity. It brings a lot of interesting, clear ideas into my head about who I am, what I want to do with my life, where I want it to go, and what I want it to look like. And again, that's the reason I wanted to share this with you guys as well, because it's so simple to bring that clarity and transformation into your own life. Even if you believe in it or if you don't, the idea is that we're meditating with this powerful source of energy. I mean, it is a lot of light, it's a lot of energy that's coming towards us from the moon. It reflects not only the sun's rays and energies, but all of the different lights out there. It also has a lot of power over the tides and the oceans, and we are basically an ocean in a body. So even if you believe in it or not, I recommend that you take upon this power every single month. We are given this chance month after month after month. It's so brilliant. If you skip a month, not a big deal. There's another one coming around the corner. And so October 24th is when I'm recording this podcast, and it's a full moon, and I know I'm going to sit down tonight and I'm going to feel the energy of the moon, and I'm going to meditate with it. And I hope whenever you're listening to this, guys, if you have a full moon coming up soon, I recommend that you try it out for yourself as well. Sit down with it. Notice the energies that are coming into you, from outside you, wherever it might be. Notice the moon, notice its rays coming upon you. Think about the energy that's coming towards you, and try to think clearly about where you are in your life, where you want to go, and use the transformational clarifying power of the moon, the full moon, in order to understand more about where you should be going and where you are right now, right? It's been really, really useful for me specifically, and I know it'll be really, really useful for you as well. Again, if you guys have any questions at all about this, about anything else that I'm talking about, you can email me anytime at boomshikha@themillionairehippie.com. And again, I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.